Hello and welcome to this video, guys. This is going to be a little bit of a different video than what I've made in the past, but in this video I just want to give updates to, as you can see, the gear that I'll be using going into 2025, and then updates for the channel regarding upload frequency and my approach to making videos. So to start with the whole video stuff, essentially I want to start uploading less frequently and putting more time into making videos, and that's going to be trying to improve on my ideas, improve on the script making, and actually filming and editing the videos. Just generally trying to make the videos better. Not to say that I think the videos I've made in the past are bad, but I think it's going to be a good experience for me to put a little bit more time into the video making process. So there's that. Also, while taking more time to make the YouTube videos, I also want to start dedicating myself to actually start posting more on social media in the form of posts as well as reels. And also just doing more photo shoots. I have a ton of cameras, and I want to start using them a lot more than I am currently. So that's kind of the plan with the YouTube videos. Next, I want to talk about some of the gear that I have right here, and I'm going to kind of fire them off quickly because I do have a lot of stuff to talk about. So first things first, lighting. These are the lights that I have here. Also the light that I'm using to film myself right now. This is the Aputure 120D Mark II. And then in front of me, I have two Zhiyun lights. I believe this is the Moelis M20 something, or I'm not sure. I'll put it on the screen, but this is a 20 watt RGB light. It's been fantastic. 20 watts doesn't seem like it's that bright, but the output of this is pretty good. So this has been a really, really fun light for me to use over the past couple months. With both of these lights, I've done a couple photo shoots with them. So I think they're mostly marketed as like videography lights, but they are plenty bright enough to be used for photography. So I'll put those images on the screen right now. Next, this is my newest pickup. This is the Zhiyun Cinepeer CX100. Zhiyun actually sent me this light, so I've been testing it out over the last month. And this thing's kind of crazy. It's a little bit bigger than the palm of my hand, but it has 100 watts of output, which is insane to think that with how small and light this is. This has not nearly, but a relatively close amount of output to the Aputure 120D Mark II that I'm using to film myself with right now. And that thing is huge. It's a massive light with a big ballast and all that stuff. And so the fact that, again, this can even sort of come close to the output is kind of crazy. So yeah, I've been working on one of my most recent videos. I think it'll be coming out in the next either a couple days or sometime next week. And this has been my key light that I've been using to light all of my scenes. And again, it's been fantastic. It's super bright, like I said, and since it's so small and so light, I can put it in places that I wouldn't be comfortable with putting the Aputure 120D Mark II in because it's just way too heavy and I have to bring a really beefy C-stand for it. But this I can just slide this very easily on, very easily on a C-stand, or I've even been mounting it with the quarter 20s onto a tripod, and it's been doing great. Now, while it is a fantastic light, it's not necessarily perfect. I do have two major issues, and that's these two dials up here. One controls the luminosity or the output of the light, and the other one controls the color temperature because it is a bicolor fixture. And my only issue with these is it can be a little bit difficult to dial in the exact color temperature that you might want or the exact output that you might want since everything is on a dial. But in practice, this hasn't really been too much of an issue with me because I can always just twist this until it looks good on my monitor because I do monitor in Rec 709, so I do have a little bit of color as opposed to like a log image. So yeah, there's this guy, again, newest pickup. It's been fantastic. I have this little, it's like a silicone thing. Don't even know what you'd call that. And then there's this like softbox. It's like a Zhiyun softbox. It's great. Folds down really small. Oh my gosh, I forget. There we go. Folds down really small. It's fantastic. So there's this stuff. That's the lighting that I'll be using going into the future. Then next, I want to talk about these things real quick. This is a PD Movie Live Air 3 Smart. It's a LiDAR autofocus unit. I have a lot of vintage lenses because I do shoot a lot of film, and so I was interested in buying this so I could use those vintage lenses on my to film my videos and not have to worry about trying to get exact perfect manual focus. And then this way I can also like walk a little bit, walk towards or away from the camera and get focus. It's a little bit finicky. I still have a lot to test with it and a lot to figure out with the system, but first impressions, it does work well when it does work, but it can be a little bit, again, like I said, finicky to sort of figure it out. Sometimes I feel like I turn it on and it works immediately, and then sometimes I feel like I have to fiddle with it for a couple minutes before it starts working. So there's that. Next, just like my wireless microphone system, I've been wanting a system like this for a while. During Black Friday, Hollyland had a really good deal, so I bought their Lark M2 system. That's I'm using this to record myself right now. So there's all that. That's the gear. That's all the stuff I wanted to get out quickly. And then now we have cameras, which is the actual exciting part of this video. So, I guess I'll start with the camera I'm filming myself with. This is the Panasonic Lumix S9. I got rid of my Sigma FP. I wanted an easier camera to use, a camera that was, I think, better suited for YouTube videos. So, Panasonic Lumix S9. I've been absolutely loving that camera. Moving on. This is my Leica M2. I have 2 lenses with it. If you watch my last video, you probably think that I have sold this camera because that's what that video was kind of about. How much I love this camera, but unfortunately that I was selling it. However, I've decided to keep it because I just could not get myself to sell it. I love the camera too much, and the main reason why I was considering selling it was so then I could purchase other gear, gear that I think would help me more. But I kind of had an opportunity to get something that was really cool, work with a company, and unfortunately I've kind of decided to just get rid of the products that I'll be getting from them. Because again, as helpful as I think they might be, I think, again, it's either keep this camera or keep some of those products, and I'd rather keep this camera. So that there's that. The 2 lenses that I have are Canon LTM lenses. I had a Contax G 35mm f2 when I was going to sell this camera. That some guy hit me up and asked if I was interested in trading. So I traded my Contax G 35mm f2 for his Canon LTM 28mm f2.8 and his Canon LTM 50mm f1.8. I'm incredibly excited, and honestly, the 50mm has been kind of a driving factor with me keeping this M2 because I'm so incredibly excited to use it. I've adapted both of these lenses to my S9. The 28mm doesn't perform all that well, if I'm going to be honest. It's not super sharp. There's a lot of distortion at f2.8, and there's a pretty strong vignette, but the 50mm performs insanely well at f1.8, and stopping it down to f2 cleans up any vignetting. Any sort of loss of contrast shooting wide open disappears at f2, and the lens is extremely sharp. So I'm really, really excited to continue using this lens on this camera. Sorry, my memory card was filled as I was filming, so quickly going back to this, I was saying that I'm really excited to use this lens as it performs really, really well wide open and even at f2. So yeah, I'm really excited to use it on this camera as well as my digital camera. Next, I want to quickly touch on this guy. This is the Kex KM02. This is not a new accessory to the channel. If you've watched any of my videos over the last couple months, you would have seen me use this light meter. It's a great light meter. It works super well on this camera, and as you can see, the chromes match really well. So I think it's a really great accessory for this camera. I don't shoot as much Sunny 16 as I used to. That is one thing I also want to start doing, is kind of simplifying this camera by, 50mm black and white film, Sunny 16. I kind of think that's just like that'd be a fun challenge for myself. But anyways, in the meantime, I'm going to continue using this Kex KM02. And I think from what I read on their website, the field of view of the light meter is equivalent to about a 50mm lens. So using a 50 with this, I think, is kind of like a perfect combo. So to move on now, this is my Fujifilm GFX 50S2. This is not a new camera to the channel, and the lens is the Tokina 100mm f2.8 macro, also not new. This has been my go-to film scanning setup for the last few months. But what is new is this Fringer adapter. This is the Fringer Nikon F2 GFX adapter, and I bought it so I could get better film scans. And the reason I say that is because before this, I had a dumb adapter, and so scanning a bunch of film, like 35mm film specifically, it takes a long time because there are a lot of frames, and when you're scanning multiple rolls in a row, having to constantly check your focus gets a little bit monotonous. And so there were many times actually, that I'd get kind of lazy and forget to check my focus, and then I'd bring my photos into Lightroom, and then I'd realize that a bunch of my photos were out of focus, which is why I wanted to buy this, so I could have autofocus so I know every single photo is sharp. However, autofocus does not work with this lens, with this setup, and with this camera. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and sell this and pick up one of the compatible lenses that Fringer states on their website, because I guess I just assumed that this would work because it works with the Canon one, but it doesn't work with the Nikon one. I don't know. That's the response that I got back from Fringer, that it's just not compatible. So put that aside. Next is this guy. It's my Pentax 6.7. This just came in the mail like probably an hour or two ago. I just put a battery in it so I could just fire it, test it. If you didn't know, you can't actually fire the shutter of the Pentax 6.7 if you don't have a battery in it. It's been a while since I've thought that, and so I didn't have a battery in there at first. Try to advance it. It was able to advance. I took a picture and the shutter was, stopped halfway. But then I remembered that I had to have a battery in there. But yeah, I mean, the shutter sound on this camera, it's just so satisfying. I'm really excited to have this again. This is actually my fourth Pentax 6.7. I buy them, I use them for a little bit, and then they kind of like sit on my shelf because in the past when I've owned these cameras, I've had other medium format cameras, and so I kind of tended to choose those over this one. But this is my only medium format camera now, and I'm extremely excited to use it. I've been taking a lot more portraits, and I just feel like this is like one of the best cameras to take medium format portraits with. I had a Yashica Mount 124G, which I really liked. I'll put some of my favorite photos that I took with it on the screen right now. And again, I think it was a great camera, but I think it's a better camera if you want to walk around with a medium format camera than, for me personally, than taking portraits on like photo shoots. I just didn't love the shooting experience when it came to taking portraits, but when it came to walking around with a camera, I thought that was like one of the best medium format cameras that you could pick. And so I sold that camera, used the money to purchase this. There were some really good deals going on eBay, and so I picked it up because I kind of thought it was a no-brainer. So here we go, Pentax 6.7, and then here I have an adapter so I can use Pentax 6.7 lenses on the GFX. This just came with the GFX when I bought it, and the lens that I bought I obviously don't have in front of me. It should be here in like 2 days is what it says. That lens is the famous 105 2.4. Again, I got a really good deal on it, and yeah, I'm excited to have that combo. The first time I owned a Pentax 6.7, it actually came with a 105 2.4 and the 135mm f4 macro. However, the 105 was like covered in haze, and so I think I took 1 or 2 images with it during my test roll, and then that's when I realized that it had so much haze and I just never used it again, and I sold it for parts. So I'm excited to have that camera, or that lens for this camera, because again, I've never actually had the ability to shoot with it. The one that I bought does have some yellowing, which I don't really think is that big of an issue because it is fixable. Let me grab something real quick. As I was going through Reddit and some places, I found a post about this guy who bought a 105 and it had yellowing in it, and so he bought this Reptile heat lamp that emits like UV rays. It says it provides UVB and UVA rays. I don't really know what that means, but in his post, what he was saying is he left his 105 under this light for, I think he said it was 6 days. And after the 6 days, it had really, really cleaned up the yellowing, and it looked a lot better. And so for like $15, I got that Reptile heat lamp. And so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that when the Pentax 105 comes, I can do that, and hopefully that cleans up the yellowing, because I really think it will. But yeah, that's kind of the whole setup as of right now. I'm extremely, extremely excited for 2025. Like I said in the beginning, I want to spend more time on these videos, but then I also want to dedicate more time to my social media. I feel like for a really long time, I've just been avoiding social media and avoiding posting on social media, but I'm actually really excited now about actually, like, I guess you could say playing the game, playing the social media game, and yeah, I think it'll be a fun challenge for me. I'm really excited about the future of this channel, the future of, I guess, the gear that I have. I'm pretty excited, and I'm pretty content with what I have currently. And I'm really excited to start taking more photos on film as well as digital. I have, like I mentioned earlier, I have a ton of ideas for photos that I want to take and concepts that I want to execute on. And so I'm really excited for what 2025 holds in store. So with all that being said, thank you guys again so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, I really do appreciate it. Stay tuned for 2025 because I do have a lot of stuff coming. Oh, also one more thing to interrupt. If you want to check out more of my work, I'll leave my Instagram on the screen right now, as well as a link to my Instagram and my website in the description below. Now, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.